Hello YouTube watchers. So this is Kapil Gupta and this is a basic tutorial on HTML and CSS. So the only requirement for using the HTML and CSS technology is a basic text editor. Today I'm going to use a text editor called Sublime Text. Okay, so let's just start with the basics of HTML. So what is HTML? HTML is basically the hypertext markup language. This is a type of language which is used in basically web technologies mostly. So on the web, that is in different kinds of websites, HTML is the major component. It is the major part of making a website. So it's a really important thing to learn. And the other thing we are going to talk about is CSS. So what is the point of learning CSS? CSS is basically language, and basically a syntactical kind of language which is used to provide styling to anything. Nowadays CSS is also used to style various kinds of softwares. For example, if you're using this Sublime Text, the editing and the basic maintenance preferences can be set up using CSS files, or several other text editors like Atom and many other text editors use CSS. So it's a really useful language to learn, and that's just the introduction. Let's just start with the basic coding. So before learning how to code, I'm going to tell you the basic folder structure I'm going to use. It's really important to use a proper folder structure because it allows the code to become more accessible and readable to others as well as to yourself. To avoid the messiness of just putting the files anywhere you are just in a haphazard way, we are just going to make it clean. So let's just create a new folder called you can call it whatever you want. I'm going to call it web, and let's just get into it. Create two folders. First name is CSS, which is going to hold all of the styling sheets. I'm really clumsy today, sorry for that. And the next folder is going to be JavaScript. That's just it. Let's just open these folders in our editor. Open folder, and let's go to the location where we created it and the select folder. That's just it. It created a new window, so close the older one, and here it is. So let's just create a new file called the index.html, which is going to be the HTML page of ours. The best thing about Sublime Text, you just have to type it and save it, and you will have the name of your file here. So you won't have to type it again. That's a cool thing to know. Now let's just start with the HTML. Just type a less than sign and then the HTML, and you will have a code hinting. If you're not using the Sublime Text editor, you can just type out everything that it has given me initially. So pause the video and just type this stuff out. This is the basic skeleton of an HTML language page. So the basic header, the first tag, is basically a kind of hint to the web browser. It is not a basic HTML tag, rather it's just a hint to the browser that yes, the document is an HTML type. It is not necessary to use it, but it's useful as it allows the browser to not process the whole document before learning its HTML. Instead, it just tells it initially, so it saves the time and it makes the code faster. After that, the next tag is the basic HTML tag. It's the tag which is it's a really important tag, as it tells the beginning of the HTML document. So always remember that almost all of the tags in HTML have a beginning and an end. The beginning is like this, and the end is marked by a / and then the same tag value. So it's necessary to close your tags, otherwise the scope of tag will run amok, and you will not be able to understand what the code is saying, and it might also give really weird values. So it's really important to close your tags. After the tag of HTML, the whole document is divided into two parts, which is head and body. The head tag is going to have most of the metadata about your document, just like the title of the document and other things, like including your scripts and links, and which we're going to talk about later. And the body tag is the tag which is going to have all of the data of the document, of the page, HTML page. So let's just start with the basics. That I'm going to give my title as base HTML basics. You can put your anything cool too. This is just a boring tag I'm going to use. And let's just run this initially just to check if my every linking is being done properly or not. So this is the basic HTML file, and let's just open it. As you can see, the title has been set here, HTML basics, and the code file is running. So that's the first check. Let's just now include a basic some text in here. Sorry for this. Yeah, so let's remove this tab, and now the tag which is used for inputting in data is called P, or paragraph. It also has to be closed, obviously, and anything you write in it is going to be in that paragraph scope. So let's just write, this is a basic HTML document, and it's going to type out the basic HTML document. Let's just check this out, refreshing the page, and we can see this is the basic HTML document written here. Now in order to give headings, this is not a really bold text, and if you might require a heading. The way to put it is the H1 tag. This is the biggest heading that you can give in your document, as it's H1, and let's just name it heading. So different it is, but yeah, this is the biggest tag which is provided in HTML now. You can make this size bigger, but relatively it will be the biggest size. If you make the size bigger, it will make the size of every other tag bigger too. So if you want to make it smaller, let's just try H2, which is the next on the scale, and it becomes a little smaller. As you can see, there are various scales. I'm just going to use H1. I'm sorry, this is a unregistered copy. Yeah, it comes up a lot of times. So after this, another important tag is the div tag. A div is a division, and the whole whole HTML document is divided into various divisions according to the number of times you put the division tag, obviously. So it's used in order to make divisions in your HTML, and in order to specify different settings for each division. So here we are going to introduce more about the styling. So in order to provide a particular styling to this division, I'm going to use a attribute called class. A class is an attribute which is used to specify the name to the div. So let's just give it division1 in order to be like easier for you, and let's just create a new file called style.css and save it here, and it's saved here. Let's remove this. After that, what is important is to tell the HTML that we have a basic CSS file. In order to do that, the tag's name is link, and just press LI and it will hint you to the proper code. And if you're not using Sublime Text, again you will just have to type it out, everything like this. It's not important to type this out, but it's better if you type it. REL means relative, and it tells what kind of document it is, and then the type, which specifies better that it is a text document and it's CSS. After that, the href tag basically tells where your document is. So my document, my CSS file is in the CSS folder. So the way to specify is this: CSS, then the name of the document, .css. The most important part is the extension. The name can be anything, but the extension has to be CSS for it to be a CSS file. So let's just open the CSS file, and here you have to use it like this: division1, and then the code. Like this was the name of the division, and this is important that the class name should be exactly the same as here, dot, and then the class name, so that we know that we have these settings are for that particular division only. Okay, so let's just put some stuff in this division too. Let's just put some data using the P tag. This is my first division, and the thing I'm going to do is change the color of the tag, and let's just make it blue. And this is important that the tags have to be used as this is a colon sign in order to specify this is the name of the attribute and this is the value, and the ending tag is used using a semicolon. After that, let's just try this first, and as you can see, the color, the text appears, and also in the blue color. let's just make it a little big, bold. So font weight, and let's just make it bold. This is going to make the text bold, and if you want to make it bolder, it's pretty easy to understand. It's just the key is to make it bolder, and this is the bolder value. It's not that different from the bold, but you can also specify value to it like this, and it will be used again. Sorry, it's the exact same value, and you can see the value changed. So 900 is the maximum value, as you can see, beyond that it doesn't make much change, but this is the final value. And you can also specify the font style, which is the kind of font you want to use. Let's just try Consolers. I like this font on Windows a lot, so let's just try this. Okay, this is not changing at all. I don't know why. Let's just try it later. What else is allowed? Font family. Let's try font family with Consolers. And as you can see, this works. So I don't know why the style didn't work and family worked. So please comment in the description. Please comment if you can tell me why this worked and this did, and this worked and this didn't work. It will be really useful to me. And after that, this is a basic CSS inclusion. Let's also talk about including a JavaScript file. JavaScript is basically used in order to just automate your web page so that it looks better. It can include animations and other stuff to make it just moving and dynamic rather than just a static page that HTML provides. Like this is a really static page. Including HTML will make it a little more dynamic. So today I'm just going to include it. Later we can talk about taking it further. The type is JavaScript, and in order to include it, you have to write source equals, and then the folder's name, which is JS, and then the slash, and then the name of the folder. So I'm going to name it script.js. Also, you have to create the file, obviously. So let's just name it script.js and save it. And now, as you can see, script.js has been included. In order to check if it has been included or not, I'm going to just use an alert, which is going to provide a dialog box. This also has to be closed with a semicolon, though it's not really required, but it's better if you use it. And as you can see, the index, the file has been included because as you can see, JavaScript is working. So this is the basics about index and HTML and everything. What else can you learn about it? Wait a second. Yeah, you can also include break, that is line break. So in order to do that, you just press BR and then a slash. This is one of those tags which is not require of initial and the final tag. Instead, it's just a single tag in itself with a closing tag included in the beginning tag. So as you can see, this is the next line. It comes up in the next line, so the BR is working. There's further, we will talk about further about HTML and CSS and JavaScript later. This was just an introduction. Hope it was helpful, guys. Bye.